What's going on, team? Welcome back to Endless Fire Gaming. Today I want to talk about a topic that's been soaring about the internet as of late, and that is Sony's bombshell announcement of the PlayStation Classic. Now, this totally came out of the blue, and I don't think that anybody was really expecting them to just drop this out of nowhere. And it comes with a lot of questions and answers, and currently we don't really know, the full roster of games that's going to be on it. And I think it's interesting that they would create such a device like this at this time. They seem to be on a serious roll right now, and there's many different reasons that they could have made it, and there's also things that are going to go into it that are going to be important in the overall success of it. So we're going to talk about a few of them today. Number one is going to be games. So far they've shown off 5 games with the likes of Final Fantasy VII, Ridge Racer, and some other things like that. And this is going to be a key component in the overall success of this device. I think that when it comes down to it, there's a lot of games that people are expecting, but I'm not sure that that's what people are going to get, unfortunately. I think I see a lot of people commenting, well, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, this, that, and the other, and I feel like a lot of people are naming AAA games, whereas Sony is going to try to make this more of a compilation of everything that was sort of great about the original PlayStation. Now, don't get me wrong, the original PlayStation was loaded with great games, and all the suggestions people make are obviously valid and very, good. But when it comes down to it, I think it's going to be a mixed bag of games. If you look at Nintendo's versions of these, the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, for me, the NES Classic, I didn't really grow up with an NES, so most of that mini system, I didn't recognize many of the games on it. But the SNES Classic was just stacked. It was a gold mine, stacked with games. And I want to think that Sony is going to go with that same route, but it's hard to predict at this point. So I think that they will basically, the games you'll see, it's going to come down to first-party titles, obviously, but I think you're going to see a lot of things. So if I had to make predictions of, I think the type of games we're going to see on there, I think we'll see a mixed bag. So Final Fantasy VII, obviously, it would be great if Final Fantasy VIII was on there, but we can't have everything, can we? But I think for sure, maybe if I had to make a prediction of games that I would see on there, I think we'll see maybe Tomba, the first Siphon Filter, things like that. A lot of people would like to say Castlevania Symphony of the Night, although that was recently announced that it's coming out for the PS4, I guess a remastered version or just a digital download. So I don't think it's so likely that we're going to see that game on there, unfortunately. Although I think possibilities, like I said, Tomba, Siphon Filter, we could see Hot Shots Golf, one of those. They were very popular on the console back then. And, there's quite a few games to name. It would be cool. I see a lot of people, I see a lot of people talking about Resident Evil 2, and that would honestly be pretty sweet if they put that on there. I think the thing that competes with that and makes it kind of the fact that Resident Evil 2 is set to come out for the PS4 in January. And now you never know, that could be a nostalgic way for them to kind of get people into Resident Evil who may not know what it is or whatnot before they play this new one. That could be the same about Final Fantasy VII, could be the same thing because they, the game is so long ago that there's a whole new target audience in this day and age who may not understand that. Now again, Final Fantasy VII is offered as a downloadable game on the PS4, so it's really hard to tell what's going to be on it, and it's pretty exciting to see. Hopefully they're going to announce something soon. With that being said, the next one we're going to talk about is going to be presentation. Now this is a key factor. I saw that when you boot up the SNES Classic, it comes up with a nice menu, and it's all laid out, and it feels like a product that you can believe in and get behind. Now, we all know that these run off emulation, and the thing is, I think it's really hard. It's a really pressured situation for these developers because there's so many choices of games that they can put on there, and unfortunately, you're not going to satisfy everybody no matter how hard you try. And that is a key component, is that you gotta go with, I guess, what the fans want, mixed with what you want to show. But when there's so many games, it's really hard to predict what's going to be a hit and what's not going to be a hit. So this thing is set to come out on December 3rd for $100. Now, I see people justify, oh, that's too high of a price. Oh, that's a great price. Oh, you could get all those games for less than that. Well, let me tell you, there's many avenues you can take as far as that goes. I think, personally, I go to some retro stores that are locally around me, and I've seen people commenting $5 for this game. That's bullshit, alright? Because the stores, like the retro store I go to, now all the games that he's selling are mint, okay? So we'll get that out of the way right now. There's no cracked cases, no ripped manuals, and no nothing like that. It's all great condition, brand new, pretty much brand new. And I guess you could say he's charging a realistic price for them, because it could be steep to grab some of these games. So I think if they load up the right games on this collection, it could be a hell of a success with a lot of great titles to be explored. And that being said, is $100 too steep? I don't think so. But there is something that is a little bit steep about the whole product, and that is the fact that it does not come with an AC adapter. I'm not too sure why that is exactly, and I hate to think that they're going to charge anything close to the $20 that I've seen people commenting on social media and other things like that. I think that would be preposterous for a plug. Now, it's a pretty normal cord that everybody probably has one or two of at their house, so I guess it's justifiable, but even still, I feel like that should be a pack-in. It is cool, however, that they do offer 2 controllers. I was quite surprised to hear about that. You know, most of the time, you think maybe 1 controller, like, but they're offering 2, which is nice because, like, depending on what the games are they offer, there could be multiplayer support and things like that, and it's going to be nice that this device will allow people to use, you know, and play co-op and stuff like that. At the same time, I see a lot of people going, oh, there's no disc tray. Why is there no disc tray? The thing is, this is an emulation device, and you know, if they wanted to create a device that you could take your discs and put them in, you would just buy an original PlayStation. The only downside to that is it wouldn't hook up with HDMI, so you kind of lose the simplicity of connection in this day and age. Next up is going to be how they market this device. So far, I've seen all over the internet, I've seen different advertisements about it, but again, we only know some of the key games, but even with the games that they've announced already, pre-orders are already up. This has people in uproar because they're saying, well, you've announced 5 games, one of which is a legendary great classic in Final Fantasy VII, and a couple of others are going to look good, but the real question is, what else is going to be on this, and why hasn't it not been shown yet? I mean, there's endless things from Dino Crisis, the games I mentioned earlier, there's all sorts of options, but the real question is, why has Sony not taken the liberty to add any of these already and to show them off? But in the end of the day, this is a cool little device, and I think that Sony has the right idea. You know, a lot would say, oh, they're ripping off my Nintendo, here they go. That's all well and good if you want to believe that, but you know what? The sad truth is, in the business world, it doesn't matter who rips off who, because it's all about production, and Nintendo has been more than successful with those devices. My only fear with all of this is, Nintendo's made consoles are so hard to find. You can't go out of your house and just go buy one. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So you need to order one online, or you gotta get a fluke, basically. And I feel like that's what's gonna be coming again with this lineup. I'm hoping that that's not what happens, but unfortunately, it feels like that is the direction it's gonna go. There's gonna be limited supplies, which again, I don't understand, because this is, I guess, essentially a Raspberry Pi inside of a custom case, and then they load it up with some ROMs. So I don't understand why the production of these devices, whether it's the Sony one, which we don't know if it's going to be limited yet, or Nintendo's, which are impossible to find, it's hard to say why they would be that way, and why there isn't more mass produced. I wish there was, because I wish they were easily more consumable to the masses, and you didn't have to have a Black Friday massacre to grab one of these things. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty excited to see how this unit turns out. I'm really excited to see what games they load up on it, and I'm hoping it's a great seller. Let me know what you think about the PlayStation Classic in the comments below, and if you're going to be getting one or are interested in one. And I will speak to you all again real soon. Thank you for watching, and peace!